meetings of the select board are meetings in the public, not of the public. Members of the public must be acknowledged by the chair before speaking and state their name for the record. And I will now call the meeting to order. I don't believe there's any edits to the agenda.
I don't have any.
Move to approve is printed. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to recognize Jed Scott as our new select board member. Welcome.
He doesn't even know what he got himself into yet, does he?
Yeah. All right. And the first appointment of the night is the Bethel Recreation Committee, permission for the Bethel Community Recipe Book fundraiser.
I think that looks like a great idea.
Everybody, I'm Ellie Griffin, Recreation Committee, and we are wanting to work on a wonderful community recipe book. It brings the community together and this recipe, and it was the page that you find with a picture and us or person submitting it.
Yep.
That's
Nice.
a sample. I did make that recipe a little while ago, and it was really easy to do because I don't like to cook. It was really easy and it was delicious to the people that came for dinner. And this is a little blurb that we would do to the community to the recipe. Have a little community thing.
I saw in her write-up for the front porch forum that you're gonna sell them at the town meeting. That's a good idea. That's a great idea. It looks like a great project. I remember I have a few of these from like churches, you know,
Right,
I think
right.
it's a good idea.
Yeah.
That was nice of her to come up
So we
with a good
thought if
idea.
we start now, it
Yeah.
would be, at first we thought about, extending it and doing it for a festival. We said, no, let's do it for town meeting.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Ellie, you didn't invite me to
Yeah.
come over and test it.
Oh, I forgot.
Does anybody have any questions for Ellie?
No, sounds great.
Sounds good to me.
I get a motion?
Motion to approve. Certainly looks good.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any public comment tonight?
Yep. It's holding.
Holding.
That's why I put the budget first.
What do you want to spend?
All right, no public comment. We'll continue with the 2026-27 general fund budget discussion.
All right, so first of all, I'll start with I came up with this is, you guys see this normally, the tax rate. So I gave you option one. You can see I wrote option one and then option two behind it. So you can see that basically we're either going to end up about, based on the grand list as it is now, obviously it'll change as April 1st, that's what I'll calculate off, but being calculated off the current grand list, we'd be up either 3.77% over last year or 3.34 over last year. So if the budget stays, I have two options, one with removing some money and one without. So,
This is the
Anyways.
way it's written right now.
yeah, you can see option one is, I made some notes on the very last page about some changes that we could make. Some of it, is law enforcement. So, I don't think that the revenue page changed at all, from last time we did it. Actually, I know it didn't. It stayed the same. So our revenues are up 2.93% over last year in this budget. But remember, you can't say this enough, that this budget year, the one we're doing 26-27, will be our last year of the loan from the transfer station, the sale of the transfer station. So we sold the transfer station. They've been paying us $54,560 once a year, which is great income. So we put it into the general fund budget, but that's going to go away next year. So we know this will be the last year. So 27, 28 budget, we know coming out of the gate, we've already lost. You know what I mean? We're gonna be behind either looking for, which is tricky, as I told you, non-tax revenue or cuts, or we're gonna eat it. You know what I mean? It's gonna, unless the grand list really climbs and goes crazy. So I just like to keep in mind that we try to keep our belt tight every year, just so, you know, and that'll be, you know, our cross to bear next year. So, okay, so the revenue is about the same. So this will be the first time you've seen the Public Works budget. So, if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them. Or do you want me to just do a general overview? What would you like?
Under the general overview.
Okay.
I'm-
So Public Works, their budget is up 4.43% over last year. You can see that some of that comes into, you know, under town-owned equipment is repairs and parts. You know, the vehicles are older, taking a little more to maintain. Same thing, tires, chains, cutting edges. You know, when you see a bill for greater tires, you almost cry a little, it's
Mhm.
because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So you'll see some changes there. We reduced our diesel budget. We think we've been over budgeting a little bit there, so we changed that. Our hired services and equipment section is down a little bit. Materials is up. Salt is rough. It's up to $108.13. Or about, or a little bit is ton, and we kind of are hedging our bets a little bit. We've also dropped our ton. And we used to budget for like 800 ton. We're saying 700, and AJ just recalibrated the salter. But that's something that, you know, we used to pay, you know, 79, 80 cents. Now it's, you know, over a buck. So that's pricey. Same thing with chloride. You know, we trying to do a couple applications a year. That did not happen this year because it was so dry, but normally that's one of the things that we're trying to do. I budgeted $25,000 more in gravel. We had been at 85, then we were at 75, and this is 100. We budgeted more in culverts, another 5 grand. Culverts, it's metal, it's not getting cheaper. The other thing we did was we increased significantly guardrail. So what you should know about guardrail is that is a liability, a huge liability for the town. If you, especially if you don't have the end pieces done and someone gets in an accident, that's an immediate, you've lost that lawsuit. So one of the things that AJ and I are hoping to do is the state is coming out with a new grant this year, and it will do a match for guardrail. So we're hoping that we can hedge our bets here and use this as a grant match to get even more done. So that's,
Yeah.
Camp Brook is usually a big one, that needs guardrail, especially 2 people, you know, high rate of speed. So we did, that's one of the bigger ones. And it's funny too, because it doesn't go very far. A little strip of guardrail is a lot more money than you'd think. So signs, we dropped because we bought some, we'd seemed like be caught up on our road signs. ERAF, that is our FEMA, what we have left for FEMA. So we, as you know, we have to pay 12.5%. And then the state pays the other 12.5%, and then FEMA pays 75%. So where this is Sugar Hill. So at this point, I believe that we've paid off our ERAF for everything except Sugar Hill. So I divvied it up over 2 years, just because sometimes we try to do that to manage the budget and to kind of keep it in that bell curve of around 3%. Let's see, so.
Will that work? Go over into the next budget season?
Yeah, we've done it before. We've pretty much done it every year. That we've just keep carrying an amount. And I think what we'll find is, I think next year, you know, we may have to just start carrying an amount for ERAF and put it into either its own fund or capital roads, because, you know, we continually flood. So that's really what we end up missing out on, is is, or what we end up having to pony up is our 12.5%, so. Then the public works portion, which stormwater catch basins, we dropped that down a little bit. Cemeteries, I was able to reduce, we just got our new bids in. Church Street Bridge loan matures in 2028. And you can see that payment has dropped a little bit. So overall, the public works budget over last year is up 4.43%, which I actually think with the cost of materials and things, we came in at a good spot. Fire department, we went over last time. I think I was able to make a change here to get us down to 3.46. I think we were at 4% before, but I think I got a new insurance rate, so I was able to drop their budget a teeny bit.
Now, their gas, oil and lubricants went down a lot.
Yep. Yeah, they just weren't really using it. We were
They weren't
budgeting
using-
too
okay.
much. If you look at the past, we were getting 1,000 or 1,200 and we were budgeting like 3,800, 3,500,
Yeah.
which they just didn't need. So we just cut the budget a little bit there. The other thing that I did do was, let's see, I also took the safety and equipment fund. We did not get the AFG grant this year. We just found out. So instead of, I think I was gonna put all 6 of it into the safety and equipment fund, but I dropped it to 5 just to try to keep finding some tweaks to get the budget down a little bit. So it's, it's a significant, 5 is a good jump from prior years, but we did.
We're still looking in a crystal ball for those numbers too, right? I mean, we know your experience is worth a lot, but
Yeah.
we don't know.
No, you don't. You're obviously, 18 months out. So you're budgeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing the best, kind of historical. So one of the things too is, so the AFG grant did not go through. So, unfortunately, we just found that out. So I think that'll be part of my undesignated fund balance proposal to do a town meeting, will be to cover the cost of the equipment to fund the new fire truck that's coming. So, God bless Gary. He did a great write-up. I was really surprised that we didn't get it, but we just found out. So, so that's a fire budget, same thing we talked about before.
Still on track with our truck.
March. Last I heard was March. So, I'm sorry too.
We'll see what the money's going to.
Yeah.
At town meeting, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Hopefully it's here by then. So, all right, so I'm sorry, so I'm keep talking, but Jed, to play catch up, so there was an accident on the interstate, so we lost a fire truck up
Mhm.
there. The state ended up making us whole, so we ordered a brand new fire truck. It was over $600,000. They also allowed us to buy a used fire truck from Norwich because we didn't have enough seats and we weren't carrying enough water. So what we do is we took the equipment that we salvaged from the truck that was destroyed on the interstate, along with what the insurance company gave us for replacement equipment, and outfitted the Norwich fire truck that we bought from Norwich that we're keeping. So that's what the money is for. Yes, the state made us whole, but we still need nozzle and hoses and things for the new truck that's coming. So it's just kind of a confusing explanation for people.
There's something that's just a lot.
What is up with the phone and internet at the
Yeah,
fire
It's
station?
crazy. And we're actually
That's
just.
like $500 a month.
I know, and we just switched over from, the office just switched, and we're hoping to switch them too this year. This fire department has to have multiple lines. They have what's called like a red phone, their 234 number that we can't take out. They have another number for Johnson Controls. Then they have their own phone number plus their internet, which is ridiculous there. It's like 300 or something a month. So everything is going into that one line. So we just moved our phone service at the town office, and we're seeing how that goes. Then we're gonna move highway, Richard at the sewer plant, and also do the fire department, because it's insane. So, yeah, I know, not nuts. So so that's where we're at with the fire. So we're at 3.46 there. That brings us to law enforcement. So here's where I know some people have some questions. So I budgeted in here per your last request, 40 hours. And I put a little note in the corner here. So if you see the 140,000, that's 36 hours a week, it would increase the budget by 0%. If we go to 38 hours per week, it'd be up 5.54%. If we go to the 156, it's up 11.7. So those are the numbers
That line.
for that one line. Well, yeah, for that budget, because I level funded animal control. So yes, so just for that one line item. And then I did make a note at the very, last page, on page 10, I think, page 9, let me see, 9, no, 10. If we went from 36 hours now to 38 hours, it would actually be $7,800 less, and I could come in at that, 3.12 over last year. I mean, I could come in puts us a little closer, but I'm pretty sure that's why Joanne, Doug, and Joe are here to talk about, right, Denise?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah.
They're coming off that mountain at 7 in the morning. Coming down past our house, probably doing all of 50, 55, 60. Tractor trailers too. I looked at the last one they had in there for the month of October. Friday, the 3rd, we had somebody from 8 to 1 and 1 to 5. The 10th, we had no one on Friday. The 17th, we had no one on Friday. The 24th, we had no one on Friday. Saturday, the 4th, we had no one. On Sunday, 10/12, we had no one. Monday, we had 2 people until 11. Wait, yes, till 11. Do we really need 2 people on Monday night till 11? Wednesday, the 29th, we had 3 people for 17 hours, 7 AM to 12, 2:30 to 7, until midnight. On Monday and Wednesdays, we don't need people till 11 p.m. Those are where we need those Friday and Saturdays. Up on that mountain, if there was somebody sitting up there from 2 o'clock until 6:30 even, you would be surprised how many. A lot of them are out of staters coming up over the mountain from someplace, but the greatest speed they're doing is ridiculous. Somebody in this room came past the school doing 40 miles per hour and a 25 miles over. And that person did not get pulled over. So that's, I think, 15 over speed limit is a little ridiculous. Lately I've noticed they seem to set at Valley Motors a lot. They seem to sit in the fire department a lot. Lately, the guy that's sitting in the fire department is backing way up to the back side of the fire department. He can't possibly see anybody coming down. I don't know if all those times I see the town office address, if they're sitting there,
They are.
I don't see a need for them to be sitting. The times that I've seen them on Camp Brook, twice. At the bottom of the brook, on that very first 45-degree angle. One, nobody's speeding around that, we all know we can't do 55 around there. We did see them the first snowfall we had. At the very top of the mountain on Hoover Hollow, kind of back down into it just a little bit. But there wasn't nobody to go stop anybody, to go chasing anybody with that snow on the ground. I know they've had some good drug busts. But I think there's people sleeping when they should be looking, watching us, I can't say that for sure. When Doug and I drove by one day 2 hours later came back, I swear that car had not moved to the Valley Movers parking lot. I said something to this one, he went down at different hours, he saw the same thing, am I right, Joe?
Same thing, in front of GW, the old GW, in front of the fire department, in front of Valley Motor Sales.
Yep.
And there's people coming out, I was going up Camp Brook Road, right up front out, and lining. It's, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm to the point. I'm gonna get here with myself. I'm serious.
Don't do that, Joe.
I am serious.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah,
The guy who went 40 miles an hour, can't drive motor sales. I went 45 and went straight at it. Never pulled me over. That's it, a 20.
Joe's like, tooting and wave, I'm going 50.
What is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is he doing?
That's a question that we'll have to have a conversation with the
It
sheriff.
seems like there's a lot of verbal warnings and just warnings, no meetings. I would like to see that budget lowered, I would like maybe for the people, the taxpayers, the people, vote, see different hours, like 20 hours, 25 hours. 36, and let them decide where they want them.
Well, just let you know,
Where is
we can't do that. Like, I can tell you how it works. We will present, or the select board presents a budget, right? They put forward their budget with whatever number that they agree on that they put in. So what they can do is give multiple options, but what you can do is when the budget comes up, as you know, because you're a regular attendee, somebody can make a motion to increase the budget, decrease, that sort of thing of the general fund budget. However, keep in mind that you can give an opinion. You can stand up and say, I want the select board to cut, I'm going to make up a number, $10,000 out of policing. What the true story is, you can make a suggestion, but the select board will choose later where to cut that money. They don't have to do that. They would take it under advisement, I'm sure, but in the end, they would have to decide where to cut the money out of the budget. But you do have the option to change it from the floor, just so you know. But we can't offer you a multiple choice budget either, so. Yeah,
I can speak to a few of them.
yeah,
I mean, so I know the one where we have multiple officers at once. Yeah, the 2 officers at the same time on a Monday. That's what we've used for saturated patrol to try to catch people kind of skirting around or taking off. They have a chance to kind of corner what would be probably not just a regular speeder, but somebody that's evading. So we've I don't have all those numbers in front of me. I'm just trying to let you know what I know with everything on that. I already had a conversation with the sheriff Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about basically all these issues, but there was one in particular where people were concerned because the sheriff was parked behind the fire station. They're not gonna have that happen anymore, but that particular officer was on his lunch break, so he was using the bathroom in the fire station and having his lunch. I don't believe it was 2 hours
I don't
back
know,
there. I think it was an hour, but this was like in the backpack, like it was a different complaint than sitting on the side. He's gonna speak to the officers, but I do believe that we have to include human error into anybody's services these days. I mean, it's just humans that we're trying, so sitting down and having a conversation to move forward and adjust things. With the amount of hours that we're asking for, we knew going into this that we couldn't say that we want Fridays from 4 to 8 and we want Wednesdays from 11 to 6, like, and if we request, they will try to fit us in a spot that we like, but right, so they're gonna,
It was taking my life in my hands every time I pulled out.
so
Well, that was about it. Why am I talking to you, cash on Campbell Road? on a curb.
And you told him that he could sit in the driveway?
Yes,
It's a football.
I requested that they sit up there. And he said that they were going to do patrols up on Camp Road. This was, yeah, so this was recent.
It was
So we
Thursday,
have
yeah.
not given them a chance to follow through on that.
I'm welcome, please. So second, I mean, Camper Road must be third busiest highway. After 12. Yeah, hands down. And, you know, these guys have seen people well, and I've started seeing number of them, don't understand.
yeah.
Well, it's not being real thing.
But this is the
Well, I
first
think
time
it's-
that it's been requested.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I've-
that I've heard.
I've talked to I've talked to the sheriff before, but I've also talked to individual officers when they've come, or, excuse me, that's not the right term, deputies or lieutenant, and talked to different ones,
Right.
Anthony Leonard or Jackson Howe,
Braldy.
and then, yeah, Braldy, Kyle, or, is it Kyle, was in the other day, and he said he'd go up, and, so, but I think now that Jordan has actually spoken with the sheriff and said, listen, people are not happy, this is what's going on, these are the things. So I think that for the fact that Jordan went and met with the sheriff and really talked to him about it, he knows that, you know,
And
that
I'll
we're not
follow up
happy.
with him this evening after we leave.
This is the first time that this Selectboard has heard this issue on Camp Road. I don't believe that. The very first community meets where we had the meetings in all the pockets of Bethel. Danny, I think you were there.
Mhm.
Chuck was there, Chuck and I was there, probably 20 of us for Camp Road. There was nobody worried about drugs on Camp Road.
Mhm.
Not one of us talked about drugs. We talked about the speed
Mhm.
of the traffic on that road. During the final one they had just a month, two ago, I couldn't make that meeting for whatever reason, but I did send my concerns out.
I wasn't there. I didn't go to the camp or the meeting
I
for
did-
the safety, so.
I didn't,
I did.
Mhm. Yeah.
All I heard was accolades on except speeding. Speeding is the only thing that was not being addressed as much as the folks that were there wanted. And I would say maybe there's only 25% of the people there even talked about it. Everybody was so happy to see that some of the things that are danger to our citizens and our children was getting taken care of, that hadn't been getting taken care of for years and years and years and years.
I agree.
So what I would ask is just what they just said. Jordan has actually sat down with the man. And I'm sure that if something doesn't happen the way we want soon, he'll sit down with them again.
Well, I don't anticipate that either. And the Camp Brook being one that is a major road and we just haven't seen them up there and we want to see them up there. They will go up there. We were pouring hours into the dog dispute.
Uh-huh.
I can't even, how many hours we wasted on that, but it had to be done.
Yep.
Yep.
And they were going up there constantly, but he said that he will have things changing here. And he will have somebody up on Camp Brook. They're going to be working on the ticket thing and less warnings across the board. And Camp Brook will happen. The only problem that I want to get ahead of is that somebody down on, Peavine is like, well, I want someone sitting here, on Tuesday when this guy comes through, and it was kind of acknowledged that we're not going to have that kind of carte blanche to, hey, on Tuesday, when the guy comes into town, we want him sitting there. And but Camp Brook as a whole, I don't think that's a big deal. So
You get in a car from down Camp Road every afternoon. You go to Fairmont shop, probably doing 60, 65.
has that been reported?
Hmm?
Has that been reported?
Has that been reported? Who's gonna report it? They don't show up.
Well, make it a record though. Call them,
Sorry.
call me. I'll call them.
I'll just say one more thing, then I'll be there.
I had this house, hey, I put a number to stick on so fast anyway, by the time I look at.
If you just have a make and model or a color, it's something. I mean,
And I'm
we
not-
did it for,
Right, for
Mm.
years.
yeah.
I will hope that you're talking Thursday.
I'm gonna call him when I leave again as well.
I think on my road, you know, we're going to road sides.
Aren't you right across from the shop?
No,
Okay.
There's two or three strategic spots that.
Down the road.
Yeah.
Down the road, back
Yeah,
out,
that
down
goes.
the road. On
Dunn
road,
Road's on
down
a
the
corner,
road.
so that's probably not so easy.
And I relayed on Thursday that it was okay that they sat at the shop, but if that's not okay, then I'll let him know when it,
I did that, I said to Joe, and I know they're gonna buy your house back, but Joe's on a curve, so they do slow down some.
Yeah.
I think Dunn Road and Von Road, the two roads.
My belief is that
Be
that
better.
you're gonna have to sit there for that comments. All it needs is, you know, for someone to see it once, you know, that the police are paying attention.
Hmm.
And that's gonna make it easy.
I don't understand why they have to stay in front of where GW place was for 2 hours.
they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, I'm saying they don't have to.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where we're voicing our concerns and we have to. Right. So I don't find it unreasonable to have a conversation with them and request that some changes get made as opposed to just saying it, I mean,
Yeah, no,
I'd just like to
I emailed
try to
them.
work with them.
Exactly. I mean, because we don't have any other options. That's the other thing too. We need to work with him and he's been good to us and been decent. And so he is, you know, he wants to do well by us. So I think by talking to Jordan, he's, you know, responded to my emails and I've talked to him about, I've talked to individual deputies and said, listen, there's 68 miles of maintained road. You need to show the colors. We're sick of seeing you in the same spots. And Jordan relayed that. So I guess it's just, let's give him a couple months and see, or give him a month and see if we see a difference. Give him a couple weeks, let's see if we
Change
see a difference.
very
And if you
quickly.
do, let me know. And, yeah,
I'm gonna have another conversation when I leave here. So-
Especially now that the ski areas are open and that's where they're going. GPS doesn't take them around 107 to 100 anymore.
No.
These people go up the hill and I followed them on a Friday night in the snowstorm with summer tires. And they go absolutely, they have no idea where they're going because they don't look at a map.
that's
But
true.
So-
it's Friday night and Sunday morning.
Tuesday, I think,
Mhm.
and I made a plan to meet up with him on Thursday. And that was the first time that I've heard that, you know, the complaints to the extent that it was a very big problem and not just somebody that wanted them to sit near or whatever. And so it being at this level, I think there's no reason that we won't see it.
Late Sunday morning probably isn't a bad idea anyway, when they're all heading back home.
Yeah,
And the bus hours, the bus comes up through about 6:45, and those cars coming down the mountain do 55, 60, I worry about children.
Yeah.
yeah.
I did used to see Oscar and he was going to work in Royalton and he was always pulling people over on his way.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't work for us.
No, but he will
No, he
pull them
did.
over
I'm
when,
just telling Joe. that-
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, when he did, but it was good. And then the other thing, the other conversation that Jordan also had, I believe with the sheriff, was just about, you know, less warnings, more tickets, you know, everybody's been warned. And
And
so,
sitting.
and talked.
And not just sitting, but sitting and kind of head down sitting.
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
I'm okay with that. And I looked at the whole budget, so, I would like to see fog lines on the Camp Road.
Yeah.
It's not, it's really bad, during rainy nights. I'm coming up the mountain, you can't see the side.
I can email the state because they're the ones who do that.
We used to have them.
Yeah,
We
I was
used to have
gonna say.
signs on both sides of the road, we don't have them.
I'll ask the transportation guy because I don't know. But let me make a note, fog
Well,
lines,
let's See what the next few weeks bring.
fog lines, Camp Brook Road. Yeah. Let
So
me ask Chris.
I'm gonna,
I don't know.
gonna
Chris Bump.
interject something. Your concern is not necessarily, because I need to understand, is not the monetary issue, it's more the coverage issue.
More for needed coverage.
Okay,
We're-
that's all I need to know.
I mean, like that's
Yep,
important
yep,
for you.
okay. Because I just want to make sure that you weren't saying we need to get rid of that money.
Right.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
And what I don't mind about Valley Motors and GW occasionally is that I've seen them there when I'm dropping off for school. And I do not mind seeing them there when the kids are going into class and there's kids traveling. I don't mind it, but sitting there for 2 hours after they're dropped off and everything else, we could be moving around town. So, it doesn't seem unreasonable.
I agree.
So, there you go. That's about the hour. So so my pitch is this, is, because as we all know, Teresa's inherently, we'll say frugal. And so I know we were at 36 hours last year. I appreciate the fact that they're level funding their hourly rate. But I think there's merit in discussing, should we go from 36 to 38 to 40? I mean, it's, you know what I mean? It's a little bit more palatable in the tax rate of a jump. So from, going from 140,400 to 148,200. I mean, I know the goal is to eventually get them to over 40 hours, which is fine. I have no problem with that. For me, it's just, I'm always trying to think about the bottom line. So I'm just wondering the thought of, doing it gradually. Obviously,
So,
it's not my decision.
Being a proponent of our last chair, that going from 36 hours to 40 hours is a half a penny.
Mhm.
on the top.
I know, I calculated this, I know. So I'm just not sure,
Monetary increase according to the whole budget.
right? But when you add those half
And-
pennies together, you get, I'm just, my job is to present to you the
And
most.
you do a great
the-
job.
the Best, budget. So that's my thought process is, we haven't promised him anything. I know what the ultimate goal is, that
Who's setting that? Curious.
past with something that we've talked about since I've been here, so for 8 years, talked about, and you see it with other towns too, is a lot of times it's a up, down, up, down, up, down budget. So what the board, the fiscal part was, we were trying to keep it at like this 3%. So you're kind of always on this similar like bell curve. Obviously, inflation's up and you obviously have increases in health insurance and energy. So, but it's always been kind of just to moderate it. Like I always shoot for 3%.
I thought, I'm more meant you said over 40 hours.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think when we
That's-
first started this, we discussed that like settling in down the road at like 48 was like
Yeah.
2 days out of 7, broken up.
That was our hope.
That was the hope, was it would give us.
It was just something kind of that we were looking at in general, was like,
Yeah.
that was for our town reasonable.
Yeah, and the thought too was that it might give you, basically, you could probably have 2 designated officers, that you'd see a lot so that they could kind of build some continuity and build more community policing, because you'd be seeing the same 2 people on the regular.
And that's what we
That's-
were discussing with the 40 is that with 40, it can be broken off 20 and 20 with 2 different officers and keep the regular faces around instead of having, I think there was like 7 people on the last police.
Yeah, I think
report.
you're right.
It was a lot. And
Mhm.
I was like, that's not really what we're looking for here.
Right.
And we did talk that the 40 is like 20 and 20 and keep it to like 2 people. I mean, if somebody's sick, you got a 3rd person coming in, but trying to keep it like that was more ideal.
Also too, is what we're trying to take into consideration is paperwork, right? The minute they get a case and have to go to court, that eats up a ton of patrol hours. So now they're doing paperwork and they're not, patrolling. So it was just part of a conversation because, obviously Orange County Sheriff's Office is not an option. VSP is so straight out. They don't do contracts anymore. We had a constable for a while and that kind of wasn't the perfect mix either. So, it seemingly going with the sheriff's office. I actually met with the commander of the state police, the last 3, and they all say the same thing. we'll do as much as we can, but you need to hire somebody. So, but I think I think that Ryan has really heard our concerns in the past and
He's made adjustments a
made,
few times.
sure,
to
yeah.
Try to
Yeah.
take care of things.
So hopefully in the next couple weeks that you see you see a change and. Yeah,
Sit 2 or 3 hours.
exactly. Yeah. And everybody deserves to see them. McIntosh, Campbell, Christian Hill, everybody pays. And that was part of my email was, there's 68 miles of road. At some point, everybody wants to see the colors. So,
I don't want to see the colors.
no, except at Ben's house.
We're behind
Outside
you.
Ben's house, that'd be
We're
great.
behind you.
Yeah, well, he's kind of on a corner. He could
Yeah.
pop a few people
Hey,
there.
be safe, Ben.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I'm not sure what your feeling is about, do you want to hold with 40 for right now? Obviously, we're not done looking at the budget. We're still waiting on Human Services Advisory Board. I talked to Paul Valley. I have a holding spot for his numbers. But it obviously could be up or down.
I'd like to leave it at 40. We have more time. It can go down. I do know that
Yeah.
going back up is a lot harder than going down.
Yeah,
And other than the speeding, we're quite happy.
yeah, I mean,
Correct.
I'd like, I want to see him write more tickets. I
Right.
think that we don't get all of the ticket revenue. The state keeps their chunk of it, of course, and
It's like a
if
big chunk, right?
yeah, and if they keep, if they're on the
80%.
state
Yeah.
highway writing tickets, then we don't see that money. But I do think that that was one of my things in my email to Ryan was that, for what we pay them. And I budgeted, at first they were doing like really well, so their ticket revenue was up, so I budgeted a higher revenue for them, thinking, okay, they're definitely gonna make it. Well, they're not, so I
Right.
budgeted lower, so I understand that there's no quotas, per Lieutenant Leonard's. Told him, however, well, they can do it, and I think that when they first started, they certainly were trying to just give warnings because all of a sudden they were here. But we're certainly past that point now. And so I know that was certainly part of my email, and that's something I'd like to see is that I think that they could increase their ticket revenue. If somebody's, write them a ticket, I mean, it's just
And prior to them. being
carrot
here,
stick.
I think it was going on like 2 years that Oscar was only putting in like 2,
Yeah.
3 hours a week, man.
Yeah.
Not during that.
No, it
The
was.
2 hour weeks and
With
stuff.
his Royalton vehicle, when he was on his way to
Yeah.
Royalton, he still pulled over people.
Yeah.
But I think
Because
that,
that's how he comes to work.
Yeah.
So if somebody went flying up the hill, he'd turn around and go up the hill. And if he was on his way home from work and somebody was flying down the hill.
So I guess he could do that, clock in real quick and then clock back out, so.
Yeah, well,
he'd
he
only
was,
be on the clock for writing tickets.
and no, he still does it, even though he's not our constable. He still will pull him over with.
I
a
think,
royalty
yeah,
ticket.
because traffic tickets, we were about 2,500, 2,500. Then we were dropped to 1,800, but they were on the right trajectory. So I budgeted 7,200, and as of the end of October, they'd only written $864 worth of tickets. So I dropped it this year in my revenue from 72 down to $5,000. So,
So this,
but I think that will come with them doing more patrol like Jordan has suggested.
And no, I don't think that can't go up and down. But I think if they're up there on Monday morning or Wednesday morning, that they will lay down because they pulled somebody over.
Mhm.
Half the rest of them drive by and see that, that's gonna slow them down, especially if maybe they're on Road 1 morning pulling somebody down by Dunn, down by Joe's, so they see they're sitting in different spots on those early mornings. I would think that would slow it down a bit, except.
And I don't see why they can't go up there, hang out for an hour and do something like that, and then circle down to Lily's, Billbrook and go the back way through all that. I know that to them, that eats up a lot of time coming down those roads,
Mhm.
and they're not, they might see 2 or 3 cars and may not get a ticket out of it, but I mean, we gotta know what we're asking for. Are we asking for a lot more tickets, or, do we wanna see them on the back roads where I think when I went to ride with them, we went down by the pond and out that way. And I mean, it took half hour, 45 minutes, and we didn't see anybody the whole
Yeah,
time.
it does take a while, but yeah.
But
That sounds like you know.
Yeah. What did you say?
That was when he was plowing.
Curious if the drug enforcement eat into our patrol time as well.
I think so. Some of the drug enforcement activities, he's asking if they eat into the patrol time, but they do.
It's like the legwork for them.
The response, like when they're
Actually,
actually,
like them busting the house, definitely.
okay, yeah, I wasn't sure.
I
if
mean-
That was just because they got a call and they have to respond type of thing.
Yeah, it's the same as the I mean, if they're responding to a call in town, they're on the clock when they
Okay.
hit the city limits. And then till they're done. And they can't always do that. I mean, did you call? You called and they said they couldn't, they didn't have anyone near us at the moment and, you know, our hours were up. Not that they wouldn't send somebody if they were close enough and just more hours this week, less hours next week, whatever. But,
Yeah, because I called Ryan.
but what we're supposed to be doing is calling 911. 911 will either dispatch the state police or the sheriff's department to whoever can get here soonest.
No, actually, I did call it was kind of at the beginning. Somebody let me know that the hoot owls were hooting on Cleveland Brook Road and there was a truck stop with one of your people, neighbors in the back, and there was people during the daytime. So I called Windsor County directly and she said, well, I'll see what I can do. And then for whatever reason, I called Kelly and then Kelly got in touch with somebody. They called me and they're like, we have two of us in Sharon right now. We're on a case. And unfortunately, we can't get there. And by the time we do, in a half an hour, 40 minutes, they'll be gone. But we'll take a swing around there if you know that it's still there. Because that ended up being their new spot. It was like whack-a-mole, as we know. They went from Kristen Hill to there.
Their Bethel has
Is-
put their foot down and
Yeah,
entirely they're like, you know, Randolph's nice or,
yeah.
you know, let's go somewhere else.
Kick your drug problem to another
Um,
town.
And as long as
Exactly.
the sheriffs are spending our money with those problems, I mean, they also brought in the federal departments and,
Mhm.
I mean, they're spending the federal money that we're giving them as well.
Yeah.
For
They
the
do.
DEA and,
Right, and that's the other
Yeah.
thing too, is by choosing the sheriff's office, they participate in a lot of the governor highway safety things. So whether it's click it or ticket or DUI, they're doing hours here.
they get a certain amount of free.
We
hours
do,
on
yeah.
top of The paid hours.
Yep, and they also work with the state police, the drug task force, so that helps too. And then I also believe that the sheriff's office just donated like 20 turkeys
Yep.
They donated
to the
20
food
turkeys.
shelf.
The sheriff showed up on Ford Fest to help with the coin drop and be around, and we both walked around town together and checked in on everybody and saw the kids and gave out stickers. Something else we were gonna try to work on was getting an officer to visit the school maybe once a month or once every other month and go in and sit down and have lunch with the kids and just visit to be around them and, you know, so kids feel safe around.
Or just feel comfortable.
But I do feel it becomes safer. We've had some major drug busts here. I can do that.
Yeah, I just think moving forward, we just need to communicate
Yep.
with the town, us, sheriff.
I've
I've already tried.
He's already got a Ford, so he's halfway
Wild
there.
card, I don't know. Mhm.
Spike
That's
man.
right. So, moving on, I think okay, recreation department, so we went through, wages, social security, obviously, where the budget, I think, was pretty similar. I'm going through to double check what I had adjusted. Obviously adjusted down. Oh, okay, talked to Jordan. I had a note there. Oh, pressure watch instead of pressure wash. I just realized that.
I told you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, let me just get through my spiel first. So we talked about pressure washing and staying in the pavilion. And talked about the fact that we need to put some chips, take out the old chips underneath the,
Swing.
swing set and stuff, and we got to do that. We also have a little piece under one of the climbing nets that needs to be covered with chips, or we gotta do maybe dirt or something. That was what came up with the insurance inspection. We know that we have to resurface obviously every year we resurface the skate park just to, helps keep with the concrete and everything. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, resurface, he seals it. And I think it was under $2,000, I think, to reseal it last time. And, but there may be some other issues with it because Dietrich sent Michael Parker some pictures, but we don't have a set amount from him yet. So he'll inspect it. He's very good and is always very good to us price wise, but he is set to come in the spring. So that'll come out of this year's budget to resurface and if there's any issues. I increased supplies a little bit and then we dropped chlorine because since we've been using pH, that's kind of helped our chlorine budget a little bit. And, so I think, so it wasn't too far off. It kind of dropped some and everything, but you had a question, Ellie? Yep.
Okay, so, and then, so the spot, it's all $500, but are you saying then you're gonna do, because you're talking about the pressure washer and the chips and everything, that 18,000, is that gonna go with the 500? It's not. It is repairs and maintenance.
Right, so what it will do is and I don't think it's gonna come to that because Jordan has offered some assistance too, so which is great. But any repairs and maintenance that are bigger items over at the rec facility will come out of that rec facility capital fund, because that's what it's there for. So if we have to do any, painting the pavilion and that sort of thing, it would come out of there.
All that is for the repairs and maintenance, but without the room you put in.
Right, it'd come out of the capital fund. That's why I only have $500 there. So that's just like general maintenance. But if we didn't had to do any big repairs, it would come out of the capital fund.
Then, the budget, for 23, 24, and the actual budget, the 24, 25 budget was 92,173, and the actual, was 75,496. Can you remind me where that savings of like,
Salaries, it was in wages. It was savings is in wages that you can see that we only spent 38,000 and we'd budgeted 50. So you can see that it's in wages. So anything that's unspent would have rolled over into the undesignated fund balance, the surplus, so. Of course, happy to. See you, Joe.
See you, Joe.
So, the other thing is that, in here is bye Danny, bye
Bye,
Eric.
Danny.
Was that I know that we had a placeholder of $4,000 for the capital improvement fund, but I think that needs to be zero. There's no project. There's 74,000 in that fund. I just don't see why we need to put any money in there this year. I mean, I'm trying to cut and, 4,000 is a good amount of money.
It's already going up 4.42%,
Yeah,
not including that 4,000.
Yeah.
That's like when you take that out.
Last year, but the idea was that we were gonna get presented a project
right. And
of what wanted to be done down the road or in a few years, and then
Yeah.
we were gonna start working on moving forward towards that.
right.
And we
Yeah, and that
have it.
doesn't happen yet. So I do think that's gonna happen when, and I could have asked Eric, but I met with the planning commission recently and they're gonna be writing a municipal planning grant. And when they do that to write the town plan, part of that town plan is going to be a much larger survey to find out, you know, what people want to see, how that's going to be worked. They're going to meet with different committees to get the questions they want asked, answered, and the select board, of course, too. So yeah, I think that right now there's no reason not to continue to be in a holding pattern of zero because there's money there and there's no, you know, project on the horizon. So I think I just, you know, it's a savings and for now, and we don't need to keep saving when we don't know what we're saving for.
And the American Red Cross is making it a little bit more difficult yet again for lifeguards.
Yes, Dietrich read there. It's people. So the American Red Cross she gets their monthly bulletin and it's hard. So the American Red Cross has trainers that train obviously to teach lifeguarding and to teach, you know, swimming lessons. So she was just reading it the other day and she's like, they have changed it now. So there's a certification that they're making mandatory so that if people don't take it within a short period of time, they're not going to be able to continue to keep their training license. And it's like, so I feel like, you know, they're just making it, you know, more difficult for trainers to be trainers. And so that was frustrating. And so I don't know. We have used a lady at Shape. I don't know whether she's going to hold her license. And then we obviously use someone down the aquatic center. And then we've had people going to, you know, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Mass, wherever to get lessons. So I think that if you were an American Red Cross certified trainer, you probably do really well in life, money wise, because I think you'd have a little niche in the market there. But all right, so I'll make that zero and we'll see how that affects the budget. Parks and public places, I got my numbers in, so I made an adjustment for, it says wages, but it's because we used to have somebody mow, but now we contract it all out. So budget is up a little bit, you know, street lights are up a tiny bit. Electricity for parks is up. I put in a little bit more for maintenance because we have to, you know, the cost of the portalet, we pay to keep one at, the band shell during the concert series and stuff. Parks beautification, I added another couple $100 for flowers, that sort of thing, if people want them. Flags and poles. I think I sent you an email about that. We had bought a bunch of flags of last year, but at one point, I remember you said we had spent a lot of money and maybe unnecessarily, but I did increase it from $500 this year to $750 next year.
Lost over 2,000.
That's a crazy amount. Yeah. So,
I think the 750 you budgeted is.
okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure. Trail maintenance, that's part of agreement for VOREC is for us to keep, you know, the 750 in there. And then, so really the bigger increase here was street lights, electricity, you know, a little bit here and there. What?
No,
Nothing.
Are you laughing about streetlights?
it was the
EMP?
last thing on the Parks and Rec.
Oh, EV charger. Oh, that's what you're laughing. Yeah. So anyway,
one.
so we're parks and other places.
Does the parks beautification extra money towards flowers, does that include anything for the village area that we heard concerns about?
There is the lady who does the stone wall. It was Mary Floyd asked me if she could get some stuff and I was like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if somebody calls and asks me, I'm like, yeah, you know, volunteer more flowers or
Yeah.
maybe they need the fertilizer, potting soil or this, that and the other, you know, I'm always open to it, but putting in you know, like whiskey barrels with flowers is just, I mean, it's just not practical for us.
Yeah.
It is,
The
it's just
hanging
not.
baskets this summer would have been, somebody been there 2 or 3 times a day just watering.
Yeah, and you know, if obviously if people that own the buildings on Main Street can put out flowers and do whatever, you know, so,
Yeah,
And I
but
just
used to
thought-
have all their posts out back with
yeah.
flowers and stuff.
Chuck
on.
Davis, I think he foots the bill for the flowers and stuff that he does out on the municipal parking lot, because he goes in and maintains that, and we have some volunteers that do stuff, but yeah, if people come in and ask me, I always find money, you know, $100 here or there for, you know, flowers or fertilizer or whatever they need, so. But as far as some big installation, it doesn't really make sense right now either. You're doing the sidewalk project to the school, so we're gonna have that end of town torn up. then, you know, maybe after the paving and everything comes through, maybe it's something to revisit, you know, down the road, but. So municipal offices, that budget's up 0.78% over last year. So some wage increases. I think we also like cut some, let's see, maybe it was,
The savings for your telephone service and that.
yeah, exactly. And I didn't, but I should. That's a good point, actually. I probably could get it down more. Actually could,
It's down to 0.78.
yeah. But I should look at that. That's a good point. Look at new phone costs. I can't remember. I think maybe I did because I dropped it from 95.40 to
You dropped
7.
it a couple grand.
but I'll double
25
check.
It's already.
And then,
Yeah.
what was I looking for? Health insurance, the tiny drop, but that's really basically from someone going to a family to a 2-person. You'd think that would be a much bigger drop in premium. It's not.
It's very small.
It's ridiculous.
Once you have 2 people on, you might as well just.
Have 10?
And
I mean,
yeah,
it's-
I mean, that's the thing is that you can go, once you have the 3rd person, you can have 10.
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Your
I know,
family.
it's crazy. I had, because I went
Same
from
price.
family to a 2-person and I was like, oh, this will save the town a lot of money. I was like, that's it?
Go to a single person, you'll
almost
be all,
paid.
really
I
help
was-
us out.
It's crazy.
Idea. You get adopted by somebody.
Yeah, exactly, to
Get
go on
free
there.
insurance.
I think the cutoff age
If
is
we
27.
all become a family up on the hill, we can just have general health care.
There you go.
Yeah,
Exactly. Town hall budget is up and that is, building repair, but that's also my fault. So that's, insurance is around the same, but the bigger deal is we had, with the elevators aging, so Tasco, we pay to do the alarm system. And then it's very funny that you can have, someone can come and inspect I mean, it makes sense, but it's a scam. One firm comes and inspects the elevator. And then you have to hire somebody else to fix the elevator and then they come back because they can't do their own work. I'm like, it's a little crazy. But, so that's a little more money. Obviously the Vermont fire extinguisher comes in, that sort of thing. But one thing I do not have budgeted for, and we'll see how this is gonna roll. It probably would come out of the capital building fund. The bells are off.
mm-hmm.
Richard, God bless him, went to the top, Doug, and he took pictures, rough shape, because the bells were making some funny noises. Well, there's a chip in one of the bells and the wood that's up there looks a little rough. And so Richard went up and took a bunch of pictures. I think he might have been with AJ or somebody, because AJ, I'm not going up there. And so he took pictures.
That ladder?
Yeah, no, thank you. And
I'm not going.
so he took pictures and we've sent them to the gentleman who maintains the bell that comes once a year from like Pennsylvania. So Richard took a bunch of pictures and sent it to him. So we'll see what that cost is going to be. But Janice Plundrick called today and said, what happened to the bells? I said, they're off and it's on the website. I said, for
You
an
just said
indefinite
that.
period of time,
Yeah.
because I don't know.
So
That's
everyone just
not-
call the office and ask.
Yeah. I
Because some
just-
of the neighbors complain, they're trying to sleep and they're too loud, so.
And then it was just, they were making a weird noise. So I'm like, anyway, so we're waiting to see. I don't know what's gonna happen or what price tag that's gonna have on it. Yeah,
Anybody going up there. It's very dangerous.
They should not
Rails
be
are
up
right in
there.
fault.
yeah,
Somebody is out there and needs to come down.
yeah.
If we just got an iron bar and put it across at the top rail,
Yeah.
at least they'd have that and screwed it on the inside.
Well, what we need to do is padlock that hatch because there's nobody that should be going up there ever.
You don't want.
No, I had no idea until Jordan told me and I almost had a stroke when I found out. Jordan's like, oh, we were up there. I'm like, you.
The whole town was.
I
All the
Halloween
treating up
a year.
there.
3 years ago.
Nobody gave that permission, so we need to put a hasp on it and padlock it and throw out the key, but, cause nobody should be up there. It scared the bejeepers out of me. Yeah. But yeah, good for you, smart, cause that's, no. Anyway, so yeah, Jordan was like, oh, we were up there. I'm like, I did it, almost had a
I
heart
was
attack.
like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, no, so did you know they didn't even ask this year? They went to the white church. I'm like, they
Yeah.
didn't even ask us if they could come here.
They knew.
Um,
That.
So that's the deal with the town hall budget.
Can I have one more question?
Yeah, sure.
The band concerts, we're in the budget, I see. No, for the band concerts, I don't know.
It's not in the general fund budget. They actually, Bethel Counts on the Arts has their own little fund. So they raise their own money. They put out their sponsorships. I will say this year, because the Duddies are gone now, we don't have anybody yet to take over the band concert. So we will be looking for somebody to do that, but we'll manage the money.
I thought Kyle was helping with that.
Who?
Kyle Duddy? The son?
Yeah, but he's moving to Maine.
Oh, he's moving his.
Yeah, so he turned all of his stuff in. So right now we're looking for somebody, maybe you want to do it, Ben. We're looking for someone to help book, we don't,
Yeah,
Oh.
I consider that.
yeah. And so we can go back and figure it out. They used to ask for donate for sponsors from certain businesses and they would write checks. So that money would go in. And then we also, I think, give them money through an appropriation. I'm gonna say that, but let me just double check. Yeah, Bethel Council on the Arts, we give them $2,000 for an appropriation, then they get sponsorships. And then, somebody books the bands accordingly. So, and the town puts a portalet there and, so that's why their money's not here, because they have their own fund. Yep, town of, the whole thing?
All the ground, everything ground.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Doug
Thank-
painted it. I watched him.
Awesome. Yeah. So,
Your sister was supervising.
That's right. So then the other town officials' budget is up a little bit, and that's really just because the calculation for FICA Med was off. So other than that, I don't know why, 6.26, that seems high.
You didn't get a raise this year?
You did not yet,
You
but you
guys
can
didn't.
ask for one.
In 10 years.
Well, we're
yeah.
not Congress. It automatically gets voted in every year
Yeah,
without us doing
37.
anything.
Yeah, you get I don't even know what you get,
Guess we weren't into
Seven.
that.
700. And then the chair gets an additional 250.
Huh.
Yeah,
Denise is taking us out for drinks.
that's right. She has-
Us, weird.
I'll be the
Hey.
designated driver.
Designated
I'll
driver.
be your
And
your
paying
vehicle's
the-
There's
always
nothing
done.
more fun than being the only one not in a car
You
full
can
of.
leave almost all of them on Christian Hill. It's like-
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We'll have it in the studio.
There you go.
It's got a big bathroom.
Oh, yeah, she was
does.
fine. That'd be great.
It's got a big bathroom.
It does. So, I'm gonna double check that.
And we'll
percent,
sneak
but
over and use the hot tub at the other place.
It is, doesn't it seem?
Yeah,
I
it is.
Check my
He's got the
formula.
hot tub.
Oh, okay, so we're having it at Jed's.
We're having it at Jed's, okay.
That's good.
He's
Short
like,
walk home for me.
exactly.
Hey, speaking of the town officials, didn't we lose the firewood warden to count firewood?
You don't have to have an inspector of wear of coal or, yeah,
Whatever it
We
is.
lost that last year.
anymore, yeah.
Yeah,
You
the
don't
fence
have to
viewer
have
too.
those fence viewers. So do you want me to budget for an increase for the select board? I mean, I'm happy.
We can't request that.
No, what hap-
Statute.
you have.
Yeah,
to
really, we
request-
can't.
Listen, it's your budget. You have to tell me, I can put in an increase
I-
and then
I-
it's whether the budget goes up or down.
I would say, because there's many more things I'd rather see. I'm gonna say no for me personally.
I agree.
There's too many other things that need.
Jordan's like,
Yeah.
I'm.
I really
afraid."
didn't know we were paid.
The thing we forgot to tell Jed,
It-
they usually, yeah,
Yeah.
people get a check cut around, cut a check around. And right around Christmas time, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Actually, I'll remember
December.
to tell people.
Yeah, you'll have to do your,
Oh, yeah, you gotta do.
you have
That's
to
right,
do
you have to
your
do some
W-2s or
paperwork. I'll have to
whatever.
Make a note. We'll have to give Jed his paperwork. Did you get the email I sent you to your new account?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So paperwork for Jed. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So you can get paid payroll. All right, do that. Okay. So, I know what the increase was. I increased the cemetery commissioner that was part of it too, was I went from 1,600 to, it was 1,700 last year to 1,785, so.
And that's still not too high, because I did it for 3 weeks and I
Oh,
wouldn't.
no.
do it
Well,
for 3 weeks,
I'll tell ya,
I wouldn't do it for
he's-
1785.
He's telling me that
That was
he-
not an easy job.
You did it
he
for free.
came in and told me that he was thinking he was gonna get done in the spring, and I'm like,
Yeah, right before
no,
Memorial
we
Day.
can't do that. And, so
You
I'm
gotta give him
still
a
trying to,
contract, like a 10-year contract.
I know, I'm still trying to talk.
Well,
him
at least we
out of it,
got
but-
rid of the plastic flowers, right?
Yeah, well, sort of, kind of, but I'm still trying to talk him out of it, but I don't know. We'll see. Part of it was people were calling him and asking him to do, genealogy. And I'm like, just say no. I said, ask him to call the Bristol Historical or the Bethel Historical Society. They could go on to ancestry.com. I said, they have other options, Cecil. You don't need to be looking for somebody's, cemetery grave from 1862. I'm like, just say no.
Yeah.
And,
It
so-
You can get a general idea, but someone called you and says, we want to bury our father by his wife. Where the hell is it? And some,
It's right
we
by-
lost a lot of records. That's a big.
Yeah.
deal.
It is,
We
yeah.
lost a lot of records, and some of this stuff to find it's not a matter of opening up a book and looking.
No, and
Yeah.
Alice has really taken over
Yeah, she's-
inventorying all the cemeteries. And
It's
so
gonna
she's
get
done, but boy, Fairview is gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But she's done East Bethel, Olympus, and
Gilead.
and Gilead, but Fairview.
Start with our map out.
Yeah, and
Yep.
she's just finishing. I think she finished East Bethel. Now she's going in. We bought some software from Nemrick for her to go in, and she's dropping like the photos of the headstones and all that stuff in there, but.
Yeah,
still-
there's 2 or 3 stones in Fairview that are,
Yeah, that's what you said.
they're metal. They used to sell them at Sears and Roebuck.
That's so cool.
I saw 2 kind of close by each other, and there could be some more when I was scouting around the back side of the cemetery.
Yeah, so, the also thing is, I think, was it you, Dave, who asked about repairing headstones
Yeah, because it's.
Cecil's on it? Apparently, he talked to the gentleman, I don't know, who's the stone,
Green Valley.
thank you, Green Valley, talked to them, and they were picking up a product for him to try, and so he was gonna work on repairing some stones, so.
Call Granite City Tool or Miles Supply and get all the information you need.
Yeah, I don't, he talked to somebody, so do not tell Cecil how to do
Yeah,
his
it's
job.
Fairview.
He's like
Fairview.
grateful that he works every
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. I was
Recently
wandering around there a
broken a
couple
stick
weeks
to bill.
ago.
The assessor's office, that's up 2.34%. That's really just some wages, computer stuff that's gotten a little more expensive, assessor services, since we hired that out now. So that's, I need to double check, my number with Nemrick, but I think we're right there. So that's not a bad increase. Government operations, that's town meeting, legal, planning, auditing, 13.54%. So that is a big jump, and it is legal. I just did a 2-year average. I also just got their letter for the rate increase. We all should have been lawyers. That's going up. Planning, I put in 5,000 for their planning grant match. Auditing service is really what's driving this, and that's because I am including the price for the single audit. So whenever we get FEMA money, DWSRF, which comes from the revolving loan fund to do the water projects, I got 600,000 from Bernie Sanders. That's whenever you get federal money, it triggers a single audit, and that
So we have several single audits.
we have had, yeah. And what happens is it's about $10,000. They do them by what they call major or minors funds. So if they have to do like, say they're doing FEMA and DWSRF, it might be 10 grand for the FEMA, 9 grand for, the next one. So there's a benefit to taking the money, of course, but it means for our audit,
Not
just
free.
it ups our audit requirements.
Nothing's.
So there's that, that's really the bigger jump. Everything else is, let's see, I
What's the
update
social media line?
our website. So I have to pay Catalyst like $3,000 a year. Plus I usually reimburse, Equity Inclusion for their stuff. Conservation Commission, I'm not really sure. We budgeted 1,500 for them last year, and Farron wants us to increase them back to 2,500. I don't know why, considering they don't have a project on the horizon.
Can we,
Yeah.
can we ask for details on that then?
Yeah, he sent me an email and, but I'm not sure if he was afraid that he was just gonna lose his spot or what, but I can ask the Conservation Commission, cause,
Cause their project was the forest right up on, Woodland.
well, Quimby,
Quimby
of course, but
Quimby,
that's not gonna
that's-
cost us.
No, but there's probably was some money involved in planning and.
Yeah, well,
We had a few pictures and overlays.
but that was all done by, AJ Fallsby, the county forester.
Right.
And then, but what they were saying what the money they used before out of there was to help pay for, when they were doing Carlos Meadow.
Oh,
That was the expense that we used, was to pay for like we were paying for, they had their appraisal of the property and then they were paying for a share of it to, so that was the last project that they did, that they spent any money out of their conservation fund was for that. And I actually don't know right now what the balance is, so I'll double check with Farron. Red Cross Shelter, we've always done 750, but we pay for the fuel that goes in the generator at the school, so I increased that a little bit. Everything else matches the capital schedule, but the bigger ones are the audit. Obviously, that's the driver here. But I could certainly reach out to the Conservation Commission.
What's the advertising?
If
For
somebody,
Jobs.
those jobs, it's
Selectboard.
also, yeah, zoning, when, every time the DRB meets, we have to run that in the newspaper, 15
Yeah.
days prior to, so
Okay.
it's stuff like that. If we're advertising, we'll pay to advertise tax sale. We also pay to put an ad in the paper to, tell people when taxes are due, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
So it's just legal notices a lot of times, Jordan. Appropriations, dues, allocations, you can see if I've made notes, like here Joanne said yes, or we received letters. So some of these are standard that we get every year. White River Valley Partnership, Green Mountain Economic Development, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, because we're paying dues. And in these cases, Two Rivers, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, those are a per capita due that we pay every year. So, there's
You got
What
a
do we
free
pay
pen
for
out
at
of it.
Ford?
excuse me,
What do we pay for at Ford Fest?
we just donate, we give them money
Okay.
and they use it towards.
Some not yours.
Yeah, they were doing great. They had quite a bit of money saved up. So I asked Mary this year if she I ask her every year. And I know, well, it's a nice, brings people to town. So I asked her, because I think they were trying to spend some of the money that they had, and then they use it for advertising, entertainment, things like that.
When,
Right, there you go. They sponsored the 5K, so
Bandanas.
that's what they do with their.
when we walked through Ford Fest,
Mhm.
I mean, I think I've never seen so many happy people in my life. I mean, the whole town was just filled with kids and
Yeah,
adults all smiling, laughing,
Dave
having
was
fun, like,
that's right.
jeez.
Yeah, no, so it's a good,
I mean,
I was.
Oh, and Stan was smiling too.
There you
You
go.
and Stan and whoever else on the.
That's right. That costs you nothing. Human Services, the Paul Valley, is the chair of that board, Human Services Advisory Board, they're meeting. I think he said the first week in December. So I just level funded him and have a holding spot for him. I don't know what he's
I
gonna do.
imagine it's going on.
I would imagine, but I did talk to, so it looks like I have seen Tri-Valley Transit, Bethel Food Shelf, Bethel Library, South Royalton Senior Center. They all level funded. Obviously, I'm waiting to see something more from Warva. I have, cause they're calendar year and we're fiscal year, so we always have this. Yeah, a little glitch there. So I took what I know for a known number and then did 6.5%. So I have to see, I'll have to email Frank and see where he's at and see who's, yeah. So the rest of them, so I think on your December 8th meeting, I'm gonna make your appointment, so you'll see the food shelf, you'll see the library, I don't know, so you need to see Tri-Valley Transit, we've been through there, and, I don't know.
Are we gonna, you mentioned that we could see some financials and I haven't seen any yet.
No, I haven't put them in your packet yet, because they weren't, I figured I'd do it when they came, so I know I have the libraries, and if I don't have the food shelves, I will get them, so I'm gonna invite both the food shelf and the library to your December 8th meeting. I don't know if you need to see, Tri-Valley Transit or Eric Richardson for, I don't know if you want to see
Well, Tri-Valley's come in a couple of times.
And now.
Tri-Valley Transit, yeah.
Yeah,
Right, they usually,
they've come in,
they're level funding, so
yeah,
I'm not really
they give
sure
us a pretty good,
speech.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you need to see them because they're level funding.
right.
I make an appointment for whoever you want to see, but.
Well, I would be interested to know if the school donated again.
Okay. Okay, to Tri-Valley.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll get them in. All right, so I'll ask,
And maybe the question, to add on to that question is, if the school donated, did it donate for the middle school? Did it donate
For
as
both.
the White River Valley?
Yes,
So the money, however much money did that come out of South Royalton's tax base and some of it out of ours? And if it did, what was that?
yeah,
I mean, it's a little complicated.
well, that's what came up last year was that we were paying our share and South Royalton's paying their share, but the school donated like $30,000, $27,000 to Tri-Valley Transit for the work they're doing in this area. And when they budgeted us, they used the numbers from here and there and the schools. So
oh, I see what you're saying.
if
Yeah.
you're donating every year to that budget,
And that those school
That's a-
numbers shouldn't be in the computation.
Okay, I got you, okay.
on paper, that makes sense to me. Not that I don't appreciate their services at all.
Right.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so I can reach out to them. So yeah, like I said, Warva's a estimate. So
Yeah,
if
Frank's been
if I'm
pretty-
close on Warva, then I'm down 3.91%, because I think I over budgeted last time, but for Warva, but like I said, it's hard to know because you have,
Yeah.
you're out.
Frank's been keeping us
Yeah.
updated. He was here a few months ago.
Yeah, but he
I
sent
think
you a
Sal
letter.
was with him that night.
He's a nice guy. So, then debt service is down a wee bit, but I mean, so the 2011 debt financing, we'll start there.
Yeah,
So this is when I came 8 years ago, you had no undesignated fund, you had no surplus, you had a massive deficit. So we did a big collection on your taxes, we did a big collection on water sewer, got $200,000 back from the state and did a deep dive into figure out what that loan was for. It was kind of said that it was for Irene. Well, the year I was here, then we were audited and they told me that Bethel was a 3-cent town, which meant you should have only spent about 3 cents on your grand list, which would have meant you're only on the hook for like $100,000. But yet you had a massive, like a $1.6 million loan at Mascoma. So after going through all the numbers, and we got back everything we were owed from FEMA, we sent that check to Mascoma. And then, so this is debt retirement. This is not, this is mess of a bunch of other stuff, but it was not all Irene. So this 82,946 that you're paying, you're paying 40 some odd in principal, and 30 something in interest. So this is a
Yeah.
3% note, but you're gonna be paying on this till 2043.
when I did payables last week, I went in and talked to Trace and I went, is this correct? Because the interest is not far off of what the principal was. I'm like, but she explained what she did, reapplied for another loan at 3%. So this is a loan at 3%. So
Yep.
there's no refinancing it any lower, but out of the 82, 42 or so is the principal and 30 something is the
At
interest.
3%.
At 3%.
Yeah.
Because it was $1.6 million. So it wasn't, like she said, it wasn't Irene. I was just like, what, this can't, this has got to be.
How much
math.
is in the undesignated fund balance?
I don't know right now off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't remember yet. I'd have to go back and look. But, yeah, I tried to, used to be that, the bond bank would do debt financing, but they weren't anymore. So that's kind of where we are for now.
We could decide to structure it differently, right? We could decide to pay more towards the principal
Could.
if we wanted to. I know that you wouldn't want to give up the cash flow.
You could, yeah, no, you could.
And
And
then
it's
pay it off
something to
earlier. Yeah.
look at.
Just a
but-
little bit every year, just add it. If it was 20 grand out of that budget to throw into it,
Mhm.
would take a
Mhm.
chunk out of the,
Well, if you
I
put in
think-
40,
The
you'd
interest.
save 40.
Yeah. So we should, yeah, so we can definitely take a look at
Yeah.
that because this is, so there's that. I just want to explain to you what the debt is. So the other one is town hall. Our last payment for town hall is January 2031. And then our loan for phase 2, obviously we just barely finished that project, is going to be 2056. So this is why I'm hoping when we do the town garage is we have some debt rolling off, which I think is gonna be Church Street Bridge
Mhm.
comes off, hang on, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Church Street Bridge loan comes off in 2028. And then the town hall comes off in 2031. So the first, few years of a loan payment for the town garage are gonna be a pinch, but then you have the 2028 loan coming off and then the 2031. So that's my thing for, being able to absorb the loan payment, but,
When we buy our $600,000 grader.
huh? Well, yeah, but that's coming out of undesignated. Don't forget, you're not getting a loan payment for that. So that's coming out of the undesignated fund balance. So basically what you're taking is your surplus and utilizing it to pay down some things.
it's in the equipment.
Not enough to buy that, trust me. I just was working on it with AJ. No, it's not.
Well-
You'll see it. Not much. We just bought some stuff. So no, and it's been a thing for all the years. You've heard Chris Jarvis and us, we've been talking about this for years about the capital equipment. It's expensive. And after, COVID, it was just, it's not coming back down. So anyways,
So I can remember going to town meeting, we put in 25,000 a year and it covered the,
I know,
New
isn't it crazy? And we're at 200,000. So, county taxes, I just, put in for what we paid this year. It's usually right about that. So that's the same. Alliance fee, they have not mentioned whether or not they're gonna increase the alliance fee. That's for us to use, obviously for Bethel residents, use transfer station. So at that, with everything in it as is, I'm at 3.46. But if we make a couple cuts that we talked about tonight, that'll drop it a little bit. So, and then yes, yep, they already did it earlier. We must have been talking to somebody. So yeah, so if we take that 4 out, we're gonna hold at 40 right now for the police, but you can see if we go from 36 to 38, that's obviously $7,800 in savings. So it's not a big deal, but it's something. And I will revisit with about the Conservation Commission.
about what,
Yeah. So I'll talk to the Conservation
They're getting
Commission.
rid of pennies, don't you?
And I will funnel back and look at, anything else. And
Yeah.
and AJ did text me and said that he thought maybe he had an idea for some more savings. So, but right now, I feel pretty good about it. Coming in at 3, it's not bad.
I mean, we could
Huh?
we not knock 10 grand off the gravel
no.
and look at it?
No,
It was at
no.
No.
It was at 75.
50, 85, 75.
Yeah, and then we
And
went to
then-
100, but
Now it's 100.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I asked Teresa and AJ to do some calculations.
he almost cried.
We actually need like 307.
Well, no. To
Thousand
redo,
dollars.
yeah.
to get where we should be.
Right.
But-
So let me meet with AJ tomorrow because he said he thought he had some, like an idea for maybe some savings. So let me get back with him. I will be in contact with Conservation Commission and,
Well, way I feel is if we do not step up now,
mhm,
the day's gonna come and we're going to need to spend that 376 now.
yeah.
So we would be stepping up at 90.
Yeah, but it's not 376.
It's for everything. It's for mud season. It's for, yeah, adding gravel to roads. So it's, it's a little bit of both. So that's the thing.
On back roads.
It takes, gravel, it takes, it depends on the mud season too, frankly. We've had some years where
A couple of years ago, how many mud seasons? We started in
Oh,
December,
dude.
January, February, March,
that was
April,
rough.
May.
Good winter to log.
Yeah, it
What
was.
is it in the rental equipment under shared services?
What's in there?
What is that for?
So that's for a couple of things. That's if we have, hang on, let me go back to find where you are. Hired services. So remember last year, we ended up having to, maybe we did under equipment. No, I think we might have done under there. Remember the guy wasn't gonna be able to come who did our roadside mowing?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
end up having to rent our roadside mower for like 15 grand. We
Yeah.
also use that sometimes to subsidize, like if we're doing a grant, if we can't do the work, then we'll hire somebody out of there. So we'll use that kind of as our match.
Yeah.
But I'll go back. So basically what you want me to do is try to, I guess, if I'm guessing this right, is you want me to try to you want me to try to find the $7,800 that you don't want to cut the police out of. I can do that, Jordan. Let me take a look at it. I know you didn't have to.
I was just wondering.
Let me double back and go through it and see. And, hey, go back, make sure I haven't missed anything.
We want to ask about the revenues that
Yeah.
it had some really, the highest level of interest on our checking and sweep accounts.
Yes, well, let me tell you, we left Mount Bowman and went to North Coast Savings. Holy cow.
They were getting that better.
Yes, yeah, crazy, like,
Wasn't sure if that was aspirational or.
no, I was balancing something, helping Dietrich or something with the general fund, transferring money over, and I was like, it's years. I was like, yeah, I was like, okay.
You
there's
didn't
some
fold your paper over and
And,
put highlighter on it?
And then I did, so, and some of it's tough. I also heard a rumor that there's select board members with unregistered dogs. The dog revenue, over there could come in. So don't forget to register your dogs in January. Town clerk fees, that's always a catch, depends on who's buying property, what's recorded, this and that.
That was the only thing that stood out to me. Was the
Yeah,
interest.
no,
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
I was like, this is great. Yep,
Materials under tools,
yep.
went 55, 65, 65, 7. I'm just wondering, is there like a list of tools that they anticipate? I mean, as far as I know, a few tools every year goes a long ways.
Yeah, I know when I had talked to him the other day about it, we talked about the tool budget and he said that there's several things that they don't have that they need. But again, I can ask him about it. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. Which reminds us, but yeah, so let me double back and we obviously have some questions there. I can go back and look and who knows, what you're gonna find out. You'll talk to Tri-Valley Transit. I'm gonna go back and look at some other numbers and
Well, and human services is gonna probably go up a little
Yeah.
bit.
I told Paul, I said, don't worry, Paul, I level funded you. I held your spot. He was probably like, oh, great, thanks, Reese. But, yeah, so I'll double back and see if I can't find a little bit more.
Alright,
This is the final until the town votes on it, March, correct?
It is going to be final.
We got like
It's gonna be
3
fine for you when you put it in the warning, and we
Yep.
sign the warning by the middle of January.
Okay.
generally.
All right.
So we'll take another run at this. We're almost there, so I think, and then you'll meet with the library and the food shelf and, a couple of people
I
and,
can also see how the sheriff responds to some of the criticisms.
yeah, absolutely. So you have another, 2 weeks, maybe Jordan will be able to you know, give you some information. Joanne will email me, so I'll have a little more information from them on Camp Brook, and then, yeah, so you'll be able to revisit that.
Yeah.
And,
Are
for
we
sure.
meeting on December 22nd?
Mm-hmm. Done the thing
We're doing
outside.
a Yankee swap.
Yeah,
It's done the thing outside.
is it? The 8th and the. yeah,
22nd.
Yeah, 22nd, there you go. Yeah, we put
It's already
we
on the
put 'em out
board.
there.
It's almost like being sandblasted.
All right.
Done.
So
Way
you're,
easier to remove, I can tell you.
Got my rubber stamp ready for the rest of the meeting here.
all right, good. I don't see anybody. Okay, I guess you can. So does anybody have any questions? So, you know, like I said, the tax rate was just to kind of give you an idea. I do this form. Obviously, this is how we set the tax rate. It's all basically easy. Not like the school, and you need a slide rule and advocates, but someone explained that formula to me, but it's easy for us. It's the money we need to raise divided by the grand list and away you roll. So, but which changes because the grand list isn't finalized till after April 1st. So. So, all right, I think we've hammered out the general fund budget, Denise.
All right.
Yes.
We're gonna
Good
cut
work.
Denise's 250. I can tell you.
Yeah, yeah, working on that one.
Yeah,
All right, next we have removal of parking on Main Street from 196 Main Street to 264 Main Street on the east side only. Discussion on this. We're not
so,
gonna do a motion.
you know, so what we talked about, I gave you, the information in your packet came from the Bethel for All grant. You know, we had a lot of input, a lot of the steering committee for 18 months, and I gave you all the information out of the packet, but I don't know if you want to just leave this as a discussion item for this point, this meeting and another meeting, just to get, you know, so people see it on the agenda. I know when Justin Merrill bought Richardson's Country Store, I had said to him, you know, you're gonna lose parking in front. He was like, okay. So I did talk to him about it. So it's really, we're just talking that side of the street and the, between Mascoma and the end of Richardson's. And like we said, we did talk about a drop zone for people that are loading and unloading laundry. I mean, that's just, you can't be schlepping that from, you know, one end of town to the other. So I went through and Jed had come in today, so you can see by the page numbers that I've picked and chosen. You've seen the Bethel for All stuff. I gave it to you, Ben. So they had, you know, the first one was chapter 1, what we learned, chapter 2, and then there's like implementation. So that's information directly from that plan. And Dave remembers, because you've been on long enough, that you shot down timber. We can't make a double parking lot. Remember, they wanted us to extend the parking lot, which obviously we can't do because of the ledge. And so we had talked about that. There was plenty of parking. We talked about the municipal parking lot, the band shell. One of the things that was in here that was talked about is underutilized is parking at certainly the band shell, but also the rec area. And I kind of had a neat idea about a signage for that, you know, I thought was, you know.
Yeah, because if you go to Burlington or Montpelier, you're not gonna get anywhere near where you want to park. You can actually find a place to park in Burlington, then you call an Uber to get where you need to go. Because you can't get there from here.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
So,
So I don't know if you have any questions, what was in the packet, if you want to make a decision. I just kind of was leaving that for you guys to.
Seems like a no-brainer. I mean, everyone I've
Yeah.
talked to says, it makes total sense.
yeah, this has been going on for a while.
I think even though we all know it's a no-brainer, maybe we'll just decide on it next meeting so
Sure.
that it gives everyone a chance.
Yeah, we did meet, myself, AJ, Richard Manning, Two Rivers. We met with 2 people from Du Bois and King and 2 people from the state. And I told them that we were concerned, you know, moving parking from one side, and the state guy was like, that's terrific news, because he's like, we can actually move your center line, because he's like, you guys have this narrow, crazy thing. But I do think it's gonna be signage, you know, no parking on one side, but
So if you move the center line,
yeah.
How do you have the drop zone for the laundry?
I think that we'd have to, you know, obviously, same thing now, I guess. We'd have to, once you make a decision, I'll get the information to Du Bois and King, and we're gonna let
Right.
the engineers figure it out.
Right.
It'd be
So,
like 5-minute
Yeah, I was thinking-
drop off, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking 15 load, unload, but no,
5.
Jory's
Yeah,
like,
no.
there's stuff on the
Let's go.
sidewalk, and get out.
Yeah.
What was your
we'll have
question?
the sheriff sit right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheriff will be
Police
parking
and
on
them
Main Street.
talking tires on
That's a
them.
big question right there, enforcement.
Mhm.
I think the cost to have it enforced is gonna be astronomical.
Parking tickets, Dave, revenue up.
But
Well,
who's gonna do it?
Select board,
We don't want, everybody doesn't want to
Ooh.
spend money on hours, so.
select
Well-
board members, citizens, not arrested.
Ticketing, remember? They said.
No,
they
no,
do that.
it-
we can do is
I
we,
think.
we can have it hash marked off so that when they go through and paint and they do repave in 27, 28, whenever they're doing it, we can have them hash mark that all off, which is the visual, like, don't
Yellow.
do it, don't.
And can't we push the curb out a little so that it would make it almost impossible to park there?
I don't have a budget for that. I mean, that's,
Well, aren't they
it's
doing,
not that easy,
aren't
but
they redoing the sidewalks when they come through?
no.
No,
They're only redoing like the handicap entrances. They're gonna redo the truncated domes. They're gonna make sure that they're all ADA compliant, but they're not touching our basic
Can't find
sidewalk.
room here.
No, if I gotta cut 7,800, no.
I think, a concern that I have that, whether it's valid or not, is you open that up to it's only one-way traffic, traffic's gonna speed up.
Well, it's not one way. I mean, it'll still
Well,
be
no, but-
2 lane.
You can, yeah, but it's gonna give, instead of having the right, just enough room, now you
Uh-huh.
got an extra 15 feet.
Is
oh,
there
people
just
with
enough-
big trucks still go
Have you
down and they're like, I'm bigger
Geico,
than you.
cause he was in.
I've talked to Mr. Geico a lot, but I still.
I know, he had.
Some-
the-
Sometimes
Danny
there's-
Danny
Mhm.
would be on my side because that was his whole concern with fixing up the mountain road.
Yeah,
And it's true.
yeah,
They fixed up the mountain road, made it nice, and now people are going like hell.
yeah,
But
a bat.
sometimes there's
People go
not
first.
enough room. And I
There
know when
isn't.
I come through and I see any kind of delivery truck, I stop and let them go through because you can't go through.
And that's okay.
But then people are missing mirrors and there are
Oh, yeah.
accidents and
People
And
are
so that's the
constantly getting
charm of
clipped off. at
Bethel,
the-
I
downtown
don't
Bethel.
mind it, but I get it. I
it
understand.
was like going under the underpass one at a time, take
Yeah.
turns.
Yeah, I think.
When I first moved here,
Yeah.
I did not do that and I got waved at a few times.
Yeah. The one finger
That old
wave.
railroad bridge?
Yeah. And I was like, I caught on quickly.
I
Yeah.
think that some of the concern is, certainly for me, is, it's so narrow. I mean, even when you're getting out of your car, you're definitely look, but what if, somebody slipped and fell, and was like getting, I mean, that's, makes
Waiting
me.
for someone to open their door.
That's my
They're
biggest.
so-
Oh, I've almost taken a couple
Yeah.
of doors home
But
because they don't look, they
saying-
just whip them open.
You're not wrong. They're going to take every opportunity to speed. However, remember, we also in the spring are going to be installing our new crosswalk blinking, what are they called? Risbees or something. So
Yeah.
right there at the beginning where it's Bethel Mills, building.
You're gonna put that
invest-
thing
we're
back
gonna
out
put
there
the
again?
Two bulb outs, not if AJ has anything to say about it,
Yeah,
but
I know,
probably.
but he might not.
But we'll have the flashing lights right there and then the other two set for down at, where the old Spalding Press was near Depot. So those crosswalks, so that'll help slow people down. I also told Mr. Geico that I promised him that we have 2 flashing lights on Sand Hill. I've told the guys they weren't gonna get to keep them both and we're gonna move one of those to the downtown so that they will see that before they, when they come down the bridge somewhere in that area. Cause I do think people come off Church Street Bridge and are, speeding, making
yeah.
corners. So if we have another one there, that'd be another deterrent, but, and then hopefully having them hash mark it off, but it's something to think about. And, I think you're taking your life in your own hands if you're getting in and out of your car that somebody hasn't had their door ripped off. We obviously have had several accidents. It's difficult too if you're a pedestrian, if you're not using a crosswalk, but then you're right. You also have speeding. It's like, you can't, what that Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what the,
We'll
it
have
looks like
a year and a
get out
half
there.
or two to at least educate the people of this town.
Yeah,
And then just, I mean, it's no different than how fast they fly up and down Church Street. Whether there's cars on, well, especially like during Forward Festival, I mean, they're parked half on the sidewalk and half not, and
Yeah.
on both sides.
Up the signage budget.
Yeah.
Have no parking.
yeah, exactly. And if we hash mark up, and that is one thing
Bike
that
trips.
that is one thing that the the state will do too, is when they come through, they will increase the signage. And that's one thing we talked to them about, saying, if we remove parking on this side of the street, they can do additional signage. They can also hash mark the street for us. So, it's like I said before, when it was paved, whatever year it was paved before, Pike didn't want to mark it. And they went to the state and said, we can't mark this because it's not legal. So they asked for a waiver in writing from the state to let them mark it, because they're like,
Yeah.
we're not touching this. Which, so, you're right. You're gonna maybe lose one problem and gain another. I don't know. But it's signage, education.
Just bringing it up.
So
Yep.
let's leave it on the agenda again for next time too, and just mull it over.
Mhm.
Side to side, street, maybe go the other side. I'm thinking about the laundry.
Well, that's why we want to do the drop zone for the laundromat, a load unloading zone specifically for them. Because you have all the other businesses, the sandwich shop, and everybody's parking and eating and cock-a-doodle. But that's exactly what's in the plans, is a loading zone, unloading for them in particular to, you can't have people schlepping bags of laundry down
Well,
the
the people
street.
that live up here schlep their laundry. I see them. with
Yeah,
their baskets and
great, but
backpacks.
if you have
Right.
a senior, somebody
Right.
who's, maybe, or somebody, ill health, that's.
Little Red Rider wagon.
Yep.
Borrow Stevie's, he's got a flashing light on it now, so. But, so we'll leave this.
Just make
on-
sure you put your packed laundry on the passenger side, so once you
Yeah.
get yourself
Just
out, you're
drive
not.
by
in
and-
the-
You push it out the
More
window,
than 5 minutes.
That's right.
Yep.
Good chalk.
5
fire.
minutes.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll leave this
bring
on the
it, bring a
agenda
Stevie.
and see.
Give him the
We
parking
have to divert
tickets.
all traffic underneath.
Stevie can
Pass
use the
before
parking.
Sand Hill.
Stevie could do the parking tickets. There you go. Just
He's
ask
the
Ryan to
best.
deputize
Wanna go
him.
north, you go under the underpass and then around Sand Hill.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, except you
Yeah,
can't
I-
put him over Peavine Bridge.
Oh my God, if it's only a one-way, they're gonna have way more.
That's gonna be another,
fly through.
that will be another future issue, is
It'll be a
Peavine.
two-lane.
Yes,
Coming
yeah,
through.
because
It's
I
gonna be-
have more
yeah.
tractor
Up to
trailer
speed limit
traffic
to
going up.
35.
Yeah.
tra-
Yeah, Peavine is
coming
gonna be the
around
next
The
big,
bottom
big
and
one.
going
Yeah.
around.
That
on
old
that
trestle
corner,
bridge,
Wrong side of the bridge,
Yeah.
wrong side of the road, tandems, it's like,
that's
oh.
gonna
my
be the
God.
next big
Everyone
thing,
is going,
is gonna be the trestle
All
bridge.
Dawson, I used to truck sand in the town.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
the next big thing. Luckily, we can shut that road down easily enough. Right here about Jed's and then go on the other side by the park, but that's gonna be rough sledding.
Yeah.
AJ and I are waiting to, they were out doing the bridge inspections. So AJ and I are gonna wait to see those reports. We've redecked it but I kept, that's the bridge, no offense, but that's a bridge needs to go in a flood. So then we'd get some FEMA money. Otherwise, it's gonna be. Huh?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I said about the bridge, the River Street Bridge, that was a horrible bridge. But it took Irene
Yeah,
yeah,
6 feet of water over it.
yep.
And it was.
how much
still wet.
firewood did you lose?
Yeah, it saved some of my wood.
I did, I saw it sticking out the next morning.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap, look at all
Yeah.
this nice firewood here.
So we need
Where's
to,
Stevie
we'll
with
be
his
thinking
tool
about
bag?
that. I don't know what we'll do if I don't know. It's definitely a future issue, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Anyways,
Okay.
all right, so we'll leave that on the agenda, and everybody can mull it over, talk to your
Okay.
friends.
Hope I get to use my stamp once.
Yeah,
All right.
and the next
Next
one you can.
on the agenda is the Bethel Fire Department SOGs for vehicle fueling procedures, warning devices, testing fire hose, testing apparatus pumps, scuba maintenance and operations.
SCBA.
I know, I would say scuba.
Oh, I was like.
Pressure vessel maintenance
That's
and
not
firewall.
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Yeah, so,
There you go.
but I've heard firefighters call it scuba.
They probably do.
Yeah, and I read all of these and I'm thinking I had to look up to see who the lieutenant was. Cause their little thing is on most of these. So the lieutenant will be quite busy.
Yeah, that's
Josh
Josh
Tracy.
Tracy. So these were pre-blessed by the fire advisory board at their last meeting, so you can make one motion. You do not have to individually motion these, and then they'll go out and about.
Motion to adopt the SOGs.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
I,
And well, Eric left, but we will need to renew Eric Webb's 3-year appointment to the planning commission. Motion to appoint.
Motion to appoint.
Second.
All in favor?
He was so worried
Aye.
about it the other day. I was like, I'm sorry, we missed that. He's like, I'm like, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
All right. And select board meetings at town hall versus town office versus town hall, discussion only.
So this was when Mr. Geico came to visit with his list. This was one of his questions was why we meet at the town hall and not the town office, because he has a hard time hearing at the town hall. I said, I don't know. You've always met here since I came. And then I asked Paul Valley about it. I asked Dave Eddy what they knew. And Paul Valley he wasn't sure. He seemed to think maybe it had something to do with the timing of when they did some work at the town hall or town office. And then maybe they started coming here. Then there was some question, maybe they started meeting here when you went to 5 people. I don't know.
I think 6, 7, and 8 always, and then anyone else extra. I mean, it's
Yeah.
doable, but if we have
20.
5 people
Of course,
come
we
to,
know when we had that meeting and we didn't know they were coming and we couldn't
It's
meet in
those
here because there
people.
was something going on. And so
Those people.
those
I don't know
people-
who started on
But-
it.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
Lisa is on, hey, Lisa, so you said in your email to me that you have a hard time hearing when you're here, so you want to meet via Zoom?
Yeah, so I do have a hard time hearing. I love that building and I think it's amazing, but for groups like this, I couldn't do minutes anymore because I was beginning to have a hard time hearing. So, but I think the change happened shortly after Irene because they had more and more people showing up at
Oh,
meetings, and they're
there you go.
just the capacity of that space just wasn't meeting the need. That's my memory. Whether
Mhm.
you know whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, but it feels like the timeline's about right.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, I don't know for sure. And he was asking me and he was like, no, you used to meet. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know I didn't meet that I didn't. I remember coming to my first meeting and it was Carl and it was here. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I don't know, but it could be, it seems like there was maybe a few catalysts, but I'm not sure. But his concern was that he couldn't hear when he came here, which I understand. And yeah, there's just, the acoustics in here stink. And so, I don't know. He was wondering if we would could go back to meeting at the town office. But I will say parking is an issue at the town
Mhm.
office. We could meet downstairs in the conference room, instead of being up here, if that helped.
Does the elevator work?
It doesn't take you to the downstairs, the
No.
elevator
No,
takes.
I'm thinking, if you went behind that curtain, the acoustics would be a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if we
And that's a
moved.
much larger area than the town office.
Oh, yeah,
You've
that's
got
true.
stairs,
I wouldn't wanna
but you have
also set up in your office. It seems
Yeah.
like we're intruding.
I don't think it's fine. People do all the time.
Exceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, parking is tricky. I,
Yeah.
and other people meet there. The recreation committee meets there, the DRB meets there, the planning commission, so everybody meets in that section of the office.
Town office. The town manager was in the section where teachers.
Yeah.
sits, so it was a whole big one.
Yeah, that's, when I
Right,
started.
but
Well, when
one-
I started, Greg was already out where I am.
Yeah, Greg was out there
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know when they moved back.
Well, he had his 3 dogs with him.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking, there was at least 3 of them there. His golden, his other 2.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's interesting, yeah.
And the Keith Arbor, they had the section where teacher is.
Yep.
And this one.
Yeah, because when I came, I took that back spot. I was back there,
I
so.
would be more open to trying a different location here before we did
Yeah.
something like that.
No, I just thought it was.
It's
If
bit
that's
limited
enough of a
here.
complaint, I would rather try somewhere else in this building
Yeah,
than to move.
Yeah, I
the
don't have a
bell
problem.
tower.
Because parking
The
is.
bell tower.
The bell
The
tower.
bell tower, let's do that.
That'll keep them down.
That'll keep them out. The guy will be there, no way.
You was sitting on, you guys wouldn't have the space you have for it, you have sitting.
I would
That's true, it
like
is tight.
up there.
Yeah, it gets tight.
Yeah, that's where we met for community conversations
It got full.
really
Yeah.
fast.
Mhm. All right. Well, I wonder too,
Think
if
about
we even move closer to the stage, just so that the curtain is there, something to absorb, some of the
I wonder if
noise.
we
Maybe.
turn and face the curtain that
Yeah,
the voices would die.
maybe put the audience there.
And
So,
we can try setting this up differently a couple times and then think about moving to a different.
see, are you
area.
coming early?
Yeah, I'll bring Pam.
Mouse in your pocket.
Me and Pam will
No,
come.
No,
and
trees
set
will,
this up.
no, trees settled up. No, but that's a good idea. Try that. Put the audience basically over
Try
there.
it this way, then we can turn.
Yeah,
We can try
'cause
it
we
all.
always move.
We don't have to worry about the sun in our
I was
eyes, right?
gonna say, we move because the
Yeah.
sun in our eyes.
And if,
but-
and if it becomes summer, we just move the meeting after the sunset.
That's right. we go
That's right.
outside.
Yeah, 9
Get
o'clock.
outside.
That'll,
So-
then we could
Yeah,
have
no,
it
I
at the
mean-
town office. We could have
Yeah.
it at the town office
No,
then.
that makes sense. All right, well, let's try a different, kind of setup in here. I think that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, if there was like curtains, if there was something else to absorb the noise, I think that might
That's
help.
why I was. considering
Yeah.
Other side.
Yeah, I'd have to go,
Let's
check
try
what's back
Yeah,
there.
This
curtains,
side.
curtains hanging down, just
Yeah.
like that. A lot of acoustic stuff in there to absorb the
All right,
background.
we'll check it out for the next time.
Check it out,
see.
Doug.
Maybe they
See
can
what
put that
else.
screen.
All right, so that was just a discussion because Mr. Geico asked me and I didn't know the answer. So,
He filled my ear for about an hour on Sunday.
oh, there you go. It was about as much time as
What
I
happens
spent.
when you go to church?
I know.
All right.
Nobody said it was the perfect thing to do.
All right, we need to sign the mailbox policy that we adopted 11/10.
You didn't fix the reimbursement amount.
Yes, I did. It's $100.
Well, it says 100, that says 80, but it says 100.
All right,
I don't think we're gonna sign that.
not doing it. He'll do it again next time.
That was put in there to
Okay.
see who would catch it.
All right, we'll do it again next
For
time.
the test.
It was a test, you passed.
Oh, that's
Good job,
funny.
man.
Next time. 80, oh, man. All right.
All right, now we have the town
Find that
manager's
in, like,
report.
But I guess not. Oh, funny. All right, so our hazard mitigation plan. I told you that needed to be updated. So we were lucky. They were first talking about 9 to 10 grand and I was like, no. So I got them down to 3,500 for us, 3,500 for them. And I went through their proposed hours, told them that Two Rivers didn't have to do the public hearings. I can do those. So they, trying to cut them some more hours because basically I want them to control the document and to do all the research. So Jed came in today to see what the hazard mitigation plan was. And it's funny because I told him I wrote it, they approved it. I've never looked at it since, because it's just one of those documents, right? That you have to have for FEMA. I think it makes us so that we're eligible for FEMA reimbursement, but it's not a useful document to look at day to day. I had to go through and research all the weather hazards and fire hazards, and then you have to label what you think and rank what your biggest mitigation issues are. Well, obviously it's flood, so then you have to go through and you list all the things that you've done in the past to, a lot of it is for us as grants. So anywho, it's a process. So, oh, I said I need a select board volunteer. Hint, hint. I actually thought I had written Jed's name in there, but I was thinking about Jed only because he's, been through the flooding before. So this will be RA from Two Rivers, AJ, Richard Manning, fire department member, myself. We may try to meet during the day, so that may not work for Jed, but I thought it might work for Dave Eddy.
No, I don't.
Motion to approve, Dave Eddy.
But
All in favor?
I also said, so we can kind of see, I also taught, but first, before we,
Work, yeah,
before we pick I talk someone into it, let me we're supposed to have a little kickoff meeting with Two Rivers so I can kind of see where she's at. Because one of the bigger things was that they were gonna do and go through and edit, obviously, the current one. So unless FEMA has really changed this format, the possible non-existing FEMA, but whatever they're doing, they've changed the format. I just don't see that there's a ton of work in it. I mean, I did it, but if I don't have to go look up all that data again, that's what took all the time. So I'll be interested to see what they say, but as long as I have a couple willing volunteers.
And this was, how long has it been since you?
5 years?
5
do it
years?
Every 5, yeah. Actually, someone came in to be interviewed. Keegan came in, he was doing a project for school, for college. And I said, oh, I have this document that has like a bunch of history. And, cause he's like, well, I was just focusing on Irene. I said, yeah, but there was April 2019, then there was July 23 and December 23. And he was like, oh, and I flipped open the document. I was like, "Ugh, oh, no." So
Oops.
I hadn't looked at it since we wrote it and got approval. It's just one of those things, but anyways, cemetery bids were awarded, same people mowing. S&S is getting Cherry Hill. H&H will maintain the others. I told you, we talked about the downtown. So we're right finally at the end of VOREC, thank the Lord. And we we have some VOREC money left. So we're talking about doing something with the Welcome to Bethel signs. I had an email and then a phone conversation with Lang Durfee, and he apparently had donated some money in the past to update them. But Andrew Plotsky is hoping that he wanted to do a little bit more like newer signs, but we can't afford that. They were very expensive. And since these signs are all in really good shape, I asked him, if you look at the Welcome to and the Chartered, those are just raised a little bit. And then there's like another raised portion you can't really see. And then the Town of Bethel is hand carved. So my suggestion was, can we sand down all of it except for leave the Town of Bethel hand carved? Because remember, he picked that Bethel slab font that he created.
Mhm.
I could only find the T and the B as capitals in his layout, but they were very similar. So if we could do Welcome to and the Chartered in the new font that he developed, and then repaint the Town of Bethel in the color scheme that they chose, then we could maybe refurbish what we have and make them a little more, in that sort of rebranding, wayfinding effort without spending, a ton of money. So he thought that he maybe even the sign isn't that far off from his design, but he thought maybe he could recarve the sign. But his issue was he wasn't really sure like how to come up with an estimate, but it may be once we figure out what we have left in VOREC, it may be just a not to exceed price. But it seemed like I went and inventoried every single sign and got pictures, and they're all solid. And Lang seemed to think they were redwood. And then one of them had the original little placard for the gentleman, oh, his name escapes me now, who carved them anyways originally. So there may be, the poles were good. There was a crack in the back of one out by Tozier's, but they're pretty heavy, pressure treated pole. I'm not sure that really made a big
I
difference.
say a crack in pressure treated pole is normal.
Yeah, so I wasn't,
Yeah.
other than that, these things are solid. And so I'm hoping that we can refurbish and do it with the money that we'll have left over, because we feel like we can use that under the wayfinding portion of VOREC, and then that'll be done.
I do remember years ago, I don't know how many years ago, Eric Richardson, I did see him a couple of days painting that one coming in to Bethel.
Yeah.
He was out there painting it, so.
Yeah. What we may end up doing is they're all just bracketed to the post. I mean, they may end up coming down like one at a time, and then having Andrew, take them back to his shop and redo them. He does have the ability to do some hand carving and other things. So,
Yes, he does.
but if we can, why wouldn't we just try to refurbish what we have? So I'm supposed to meet with Andrew and Chris Fors on December 5th. So
With a pragmatic approach, I'm sure it probably kills Andrew to have to
Yeah.
lend his.
he wasn't thrilled, I think, because he was like, I
But it makes.
I don't have the money. I'm like, but they were like 10 grand a piece. I'm like, I'm like, we're the town, man, we're
We
broke.
told them at some point, when they're ready to be replaced, we'll replace them.
These
yeah.
things are
Yeah.
like solid. So I'm like, I was
40
like,
years.
Yeah.
I'm
Records
like,
not
so
there.
they do need some TLC and Lang had actually emailed me to say, hey, Therese, do I need to pony up a little bit of money to get these? They know, they don't look good, but. So anyway, so.
You say yes.
I did think that I would, yes, indeed, that rec, and I'd get back to him and I was accepting donations. He didn't respond. He called me, but that was about it. So, what else? Okay, last thing is the office will be closed Thursday and Friday. So we're closed for Thanksgiving and then people use time off to take Friday off. And then I am off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the following. So
Using up that vacation time.
I am trying. So, I mean, obviously, if you need to call me, I'll be around, but I'm not leaving the country or anything, but I won't be in the office and I will not be responding I don't check my email when I'm on vacation either. So, but if something comes up, call somebody else. So that's it. That's all I got. Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, it's fine. I won't ring at work.
There
It's there anymore.
you go. You know, the new phone system we have that we just got installed, you can actually unplug the phone and take it home with you and plug it in. And it's just like you're at your desk. And I'm like, no.
That sounds
horrible.
terrible.
That's what I said. I'm like, he told me about that. I'm like, it would have been great, I guess, during COVID. I mean, we were
Yeah.
lucky because the way our office is set up, but if somebody was sick or this and that, but I was like, I'm not telling this.
Yeah, we have
I don't
caller
have
ID,
a line,
yeah.
so it's not plugging in at my house, but, I think you just had to plug it into like your internet to
Mhm.
do one of the cable, I don't know, what do you call those things? The blue cable, yeah, and then I'm like, that's horrible.
You taking it home? I'll deliver it.
Yeah, I don't think,
I'll meet you at the Green Trails Inn.
yeah, I'm not.
We'll have lunch. and
Yeah, they
take
take
it
the
home.
phone. No.
Okay, that's it. we can do
But
that.
anyways.
So you could like take it on vacation. with you.
Yeah, exactly.
At state.
Because that means half of Bethel doesn't already have my cell phone number. 6 a.m.
Yep,
I'm getting the calls from
There's a
somebody.
tree down.
yep,
Yep,
call AJ.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
Where you get your rubber stamp out?
we have the select board minutes from 11/10/25. Anybody see anything on here that,
Motion approved as it's.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have some other communication in there you can read.
Yeah, you had rec committee minutes and what else?
I
you had?
think that was it.
Might have been it. Just-
And then the thing that you printed off from Lindsay's.
Oh, yeah,
that was in.
it was nice. for
Yep.
For the minutes, yeah.
All right. Any other business to come before the board?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? You guys can say something.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.